Hey everybody, this is Ben Clark from Queen City Clay, and I wanted to talk you through starting a large cylinder because it's hard to get a lot of clay up at the beginning, and it helps you make a consistent cylinder if you do. So here's how we tackle that. I'm starting with 10 pounds of clay here, which is a moderate sized cylinder, and I'm gonna get that centered and then work through the opening. Now, anytime you're getting height for a cylinder, you want to center your lump of clay taller, and then through the opening I will keep a narrow space in there, because remember, we want to use most of the mass of the clay to get height, not width. So I'll compress the floor, and then to get most of that clay moving in the right direction, I'm going to start with a palm pull. So I'm using my centering palm on the outside, anchoring my elbow against my hip bone and reaching into the inside with my inside hand. Now, this is going to provide inward pressure. That's pushing against the spinning force of the wheel, and that's going to make the clay thin automatically. This hand on the inside is going to squeeze back toward my palm in order to increase the size of the pull. So I apply pressure down low and then ripple the pressure up to the upper part of my palm, driving inward the whole time while squeezing back into my palm with my inside hand to drive a lot of clay up into the cylinder. I still have a decent amount of weight down here that I want to tackle before going to a traditional pull. So I can use a pull that looks like I'm necking the pot in. I'm going to use pressure with the bottoms of my palms and my pinkies from both sides of the pot and press hard against the bat while squeezing in toward the center of the pot. And you see you make this large ledge down there. And then I can apply pressure right in the crease of my palms and my fingers to squeeze in and drive more clay up the wall. Pause at the top and slowly let go. So now I've got a huge amount of height from those first two movements, and in order to set myself up for a traditional pull, now I'll wet my hand, slowly slide it down because I don't want to get too much torque in the clay, and grab for a traditional pull where I'm using my outside middle and ring finger to push in while my inside hand is directly across from it, pushing back softly. So in 3 movements there, I'm up above 15 inches and still have maybe 2 or 3 pulls left before cleaning the cylinder up. So a great way to start a very tall cylinder. Another way to get a jump start on a tall cylinder is to, again, start with that tall centered mound and then get your hands in a traditional coning position. So I'm going to use my left palm and then put my right hand on the back side. And if you're making a square with your hands, you're just completing that square with your fingers on the back side of the clay. And squeeze in and drive up. And as you come to the top, let one hand win the race to the top and press down at a 45-degree angle as the backhand is catching up. That allows you to cone the clay without getting a huge divot in the center. Once I have that very tall cylinder set, I'm going to open up as much as my fingers will allow before I hit my knuckles and pull some weight out of the top of this. So I'll get into my traditional pulling stance and just thin this top part out a little bit and get it closer to a finished thickness. Then I'll take my left hand and drive down the rest of the way, opening that bottom and then grabbing a large traditional pull all the way from the base. Taking a slow release at the top, and generally after that first pull, I'll neck in the top just a little bit to even it out with the rest of the cylinder. But in 2 movements there, I've got a huge amount of height and haven't really strained myself too much, which is the goal, to get to this point without being so exhausted you can't finish the rest of the cylinder. Try both of these techniques, and with a little bit or a lot of practice, you're going to be pulling huge cylinders in no time. So thanks for watching. In those 3 easy movements, no, I'm going to do that again because they're not easy.